Who are the Israelites?
Okay, so let get
How
James
do we
1 and 1.
identify them?
I'm going to show you how. This is how we identify them. Get James 1 and 1. So when you look at the 12 tribes of Israel, even, remember, James was writing after Jesus Christ died, right? James, the book of James, and the message never changed. In the New Testament, I start here because I want you to see that not only is Paul's and Peter's audience the Jews, which were the southern kingdom, also it was the northern tribes that were scattered. James 1 and 1.
James chapter 1 and verse 1.
See, I don't even have it. Give me a sec, brother. Okay. James chapter, here's the answer to your question. Read.
Okay.
James chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of God.
James was a servant of God. Read.
And of the Lord Jesus Christ.
To
the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting.
James was a follower of Christ. His audience were the 12 tribes that were scattered throughout all Pontia, throughout Galatia, all these places. That's who Paul's audience was. The message has never changed. It was always for the 12 tribes of Israel.
So, RBG Tech, what's going on? So, you asked a good question, and that's something I asked in the beginning. So, let's say this information is true. Let's say Black Americans, Black people, we are the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, now what? Now what do we do with that information? What do we do with that revelation? Great question. Is it constructive? Is this a constructive thing for us to engage in as a group of people, or are we wasting our time? Because I do believe in making sure that we are spending our time on things that can actually get us to where we need to go. So, you know how we do. Holla at your girl. What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Now, you ain't missed nothing. Hold on. Say, I really don't care less about any of this in the slightest. Show me the infrastructure. Show me the ability to take care of yourself, defend yourself, and everything else linked to the nation. Well, you know, that's why I'm always glad you're here, brother, to explore with us. Holla at your girl with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. As always, thank you for being here. Hey, friend, what's going on?
Look at all this money, homie. I got all this money, homie.
Nah, you ain't missed anything, and I'm glad you in here. You right on time, because we ain't even get to the main feature yet. We didn't get to the main feature. So, like I said, I was going to look at another video for our main feature, but I thought that the Jesse Lee Peterson video would be a lot more entertaining, because I want to have a little fun tonight, but get some learning in. Hey, well, yeah, I hear you, Terrell. You say you can't use a fictional book to prove anything. No, I hear you, because, well, you got to remember, we are dealing with a lot of belief. We're dealing with a lot of what people believe, a lot of interpretations of how people interpret the words of the Bible. As I was reading earlier, it depends on what you believe. Even in the video that we're going to look at with Jesse Lee Peterson, you're going to hear them talking about when they were Christians, because they still read the same book. They still read the King James Bible. So when they were Christians, they read the Bible one way, but now they're Hebrew Israelites, they're reading it another way, even though it's the same information, the same words. Renee, what's going on? What's going on? You know it ain't a party if you ain't here, Renee. What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? So, who are the Hebrew Israelites, right? Not all Hebrew Israelite groups believe the same as that thing. Many believe Black Americans descend from ancient Israel. The transatlantic slave trade fulfilled biblical prophecy. Modern Jews are not the primary descendants of biblical Israel. Many identify Black Americans as the tribe of Judah. Some groups include Hispanics and Native Americans among the 12 tribes. Most rely heavily on the King James Bible, as I stated earlier. Other Hebrew Israelite communities are much less confrontational, simply observe biblical laws while identifying as descendants of Israel. The movement is diverse rather than a single organization, and I've learned that there are many different factions within that. It says it depends on power. If 6 people have 6 positions, which one holds sway? Come on, bro. Had the same message in the Independence Day Project. It's hey. Well, that's why I'm glad, once again, my brother, that's why I'm glad you're here. You know, I never go against you when you telling the truth, you know. So their main biblical argument is Deuteronomy 28. So let me look up Deuteronomy 28. And it says especially verses 15 through 68. That's a lot. But we're going to bust out Deuteronomy 28. We're going to get into it. All right. Well, no, let me do the King James Version. All right, it says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed thou shalt be in the city, and blessed thou shalt be in the field. Blessed thou shalt be the fruit of the body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of the cattle, and increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be the basket and thy store. Blessed shall be thou when thou comest in. Blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou shalt settest thine hand unto, and shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee a holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, that if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, and in the fruit of the body, and in the fruit of the cattle, and in the fruit of the ground, and in the land which the Lord shall share unto thy fathers and give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Let me go to 15. Okay. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And this is what they're saying. They believe it are the prophecies of black people. Cursed shall be in the city, and cursed shall be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be thy fruit of the body, and the fruit of thy land, and increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when it cometh in, and cursed shall be when thou goeth out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou setteth thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, thereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with consumption, and with fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and the blasting, and the mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven is to cover thy head, shall be brass, and the earth that is under thy feet shall be iron. The Lord shall make the rain of the land powder and dust, and from heaven it shall come down upon thee and be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies, and thou go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into the kingdoms of earth. And it says it goes into, because this is a long ass passage, and I ain't finna read all this shit. But these old English words, boy. But anyway, but this is the prophecies and stuff that they're saying, that the curses and all these things, it pertains to black people, to Black Americans, to Black people throughout the diaspora. And I'm not sure what physical evidence they have, but I know that this is the crux of what they believe. All right, so let me go ahead and get this video going. This is 3 Hebrew Israelites having a conversation with Jesse Lee Peterson, and it's entertaining, yet it lends to the conversation though. So let's get into it.
The LA area, and you have to love the Fallen State. Click right here to apply.
The Fallen State is amazing. Subscribe now.
Restless, I am so restless, and this changing world leaves me speechless. I am lost for words, but I kept mine.
Well, them thems and these and thines and smitten this kick my ass.
Welcome to the Fallen State. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Today I'm speaking with a Hebrew Israelite group. I have with me Malak, right?
Shalom, shalom, brother. How you doing? How you doing?
Good. Thank you for
Honored
coming.
to be here.
And this is your wife, Yanni. Is that right?
Yes,
Yanni,
Yanni.
thank you for coming as well.
Thank you for having us.
We played the horn. You played the horn just before we were started. What was that about?
Well, the shofar is a part of the culture of the Hebrew Israelites. Now, it's a real good history lesson when it comes to the shofar, because the shofar actually comes out of West Africa, right? And a lot of people think that it's a Jewish thing, but the shofar actually comes from what's the name of that?
Kudu ram.
Yeah, kudu ram. A kudu ram, and the kudu rams come from West Africa. So when you blow the shofar, they blew the ram's horn to knock down the walls of Jericho. So when you blow the shofar, you can blow the shofar for healing. You can blow the shofar for victory. You can blow the shofar for going to war. So there's many different reasons why we blow the shofar.
So are you considered like the preacher or?
Yes, I'm a moray of one of the groups of the Hebrew Israelites.
Which means preacher or
Means
pastor?
Preacher or teacher.
Okay. And I was telling you earlier that I was up in Las Vegas doing a debate with one of the Israelite groups. Are you different than they are?
No, we all family, but we're not a part, like everybody have their own little set. So they name of their group is GOCC. We're not a part of GOCC, but we all consider each other family. See, being a Hebrew Israelite is not a religion. It's a birthright. It's a nationality. So you are considered a Hebrew Israelite by blood if you were so-called Negro in America.
So have you always been a Hebrew Israelite? Were you a Christian before that?
Yeah, I actually woke up probably around like 15 years ago. I used to go to church every Sunday, and my testimony is real interesting because I actually heard a voice from the Most High leading me and guiding me, and he took me to Deuteronomy chapter 28.
So, yeah, see, we already dealing with Deuteronomy 28. But okay, Gregory. So I'm looking up DSB. What's going on, my brother? Welcome, my brother. Thank you for being here. Gregory, I'm looking up what you just put in. You said Y-DNA haplogroup E1B1A. And your question was, is there a specific haplogroup that is particular to the Hebrew Israelites? And so I typed in, is there a specific haplogroup that is particular to Hebrew Israelites? It says, short answer, no. There's no Y-DNA or mitochondrial haplogroup that identifies someone as an ancient Israelite or as a biblical Hebrew. Current genetic research does not support the existence of a unique Hebrew Israelite haplogroup. This is just according to what I searched. I'm not saying this is right. This is just according to what I searched, but this is something we can look in further. It says, what was I just read? Okay, so researchers have found that many Jewish communities, including Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Mizrahi Jews, share several paternal haplogroups that are common to the ancient Near East. The most common include the J1, JM267, J2, JM172, and the E1 and the E1B1, E1B1B, EM35. Those are common enough that they are often discussed in studies of Jewish ancestry, but none of them are uniquely Jewish or uniquely Israelite. They're also found in many non-Jewish populations across the Middle East, North Africa, and surrounding regions. So it says, could Black Americans have one of these haplogroups? It says, yes, it is possible for Black Americans to have the J1, J2, E1, B1B, T, or many other haplogroups. But having one of these haplogroups does not by itself demonstrate descendant from the biblical Israelites, because these lineages are shared by many populations. So, like I said, I'm not saying this is right, but this is something we can explore further. It says, what tangible has this gotten, guys? Hey, look, hey. But you know, when Dr. Clark made a statement about a God that will have a chosen people would be a bigot, but you would think that if the idea is everything that God created is good and all people are God's people, then you know the idea of a chosen people, you know, everybody else like, so what about us? I thought we was good too. You said the European Jews got it through mixing that was not actually willing. Right. But you know, once again, this gentleman here is getting into the Deuteronomy 28, and you said he already messed up calling out sets and stuff. But once again, going into the prophecies, saying that these prophecies are what is the evidence, or a lot of people use that as evidence to say this is exactly why we are the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites, or the God's chosen people, or the Jews. But let's continue though.
And he showed me that the Bible is a history book. It's not a religious book. It's not about Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, all these different things. It's actually a history book. And we are actually in the book, and we are the main characters in the book. And so when I found out that I was a Hebrew Israelite, at first I was sad, because what actually happened was the children of Israel went against the Most High. And we got put in a punishment, and this is all a part of Deuteronomy 28 for anybody that's listening. We can go over some scriptures if you like, just quick ones. Is that okay with you?
Well, we'll come back to it. I just want to bring.
Well, also, if you listen to what the brother is saying, once again, like I said in the opening, he's still reading the King James Bible, and so his interpretation of the Bible has changed due to the programming that he has, due to the teachings that he's now under. Same Bible, same information, same scriptures, just different interpretation, different ways of viewing it. Same information. The information didn't change. He did. So, you know, I'm with y'all. You already know I'm with y'all. And so you say the European Jews got it through mixing. Right, I read that. It says, well, it's deeper than that. When you have people being very selective with the Bible, only taking sections to reinforce narratives. And once again, that's what I believe a lot of these, especially these ones that we're looking at, that's what they're doing. Saying Europeans took our culture and made it to a religion. Hebrew Israelite groups are also a religion. The actual people are the people. It says, for a white man strikes a slave, if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for the slave is his money. Exodus 20, right. And they took that and said, this is justification for slavery. It's more about lineage. We're a lineage of people. They are practicing their religion, which isn't bad. It's just where they are right now. So like I said, I'm not here to argue, but for my understanding, so is there any concrete proof of the lineage to show that Black Americans or Black people throughout the diaspora are linked back to the historical Jews? That is my question.
Yanni, and so Yanni, you're married to Malak.
Yes.
Malak.
Yes.
And were you a Christian prior to meeting
Yes,
him?
I was raised actually in a Baptist church growing up.
Really? And so you became a Israelite,
Absolutely.
Hebrew Israelite. And what's the difference in being a Christian and being an Israelite, Hebrew
Well, the
Israelite?
difference is being a Christian, those are all man-made religions. So like my husband Malak was saying, that a Hebrew Israelite is our culture, our heritage, our nationality. It's who we are as a people.
Meaning that you are a Jew?
Yes.
You a Jew?
I'm a Jew.
Are you the original Jew?
According to the Bible and the scriptures, yes, we are the original Jews. Yes, we are.
And so, did your life change as a result of becoming a Jew rather than a Christian?
Yes, it did.
In what
Because
way?
in regards to, when I say everything, I changed everything from my diet, the things that I ate before when I was going to church. Although we read out of the same Bible, we weren't following those laws that are written in that Bible. The Most High God gives us specific foods we are to eat. I was eating everything under the sun. When I say lobster, crab, shrimp, those are all abominations.
You don't eat that anymore?
No.
Can I have your portion?
You don't want it either. You don't need it. You don't need it.
Fish and stuff.
Yeah, but all those are.
No, you can eat fish. You just
you
have
can
to
eat
have
fish.
scales
Yeah.
on it.
Everything that's in the water
I
has to
see.
have scales and fins.
Right. Okay.
Will have to have scales.
And
and
so,
fins.
how long you been married?
We've been married.
So hey man, you already know this one went a lot better than others, but you know how Jesse gonna be messy ass Jesse. But if you listen to what she just kind of described, is it just me, or did she basically say the difference between her being a Christian and a Hebrew Israelite is she actually just started following what's in the Bible? She chose to actually live according to her faith. Because she said her whole life changed. She started eating right. She started living right. She started going according to what the Bible was saying. Right, but you're reading the same book. It's the same book you're reading. The difference is and I'm going to say it for this, the religion. The difference is the spiritual path, or as they would say, the inheritance, or the lineage, as they would say. But can you choose to can you convert into a lineage? Because both of them said that they were Christians. The gentleman said he was a Christian, and then God told him to be a Hebrew Israelite, and now he's a Hebrew Israelite. And she said she converted. So they both converted from Christianity to the Hebrew Israelite path. So can you convert into a lineage? Or are they saying that I'm confused. Help me out with that. I'm not sure. Like, because if it's a lineage, that's something that you can't convert into. It's something you always were. So RBG, I don't know about no action, my brother. I don't know about no action. She appears to have internalized things more. That's for sure. So I guess it means she took it from being something that she followed from being told to something she actually wanted to do. Right. So, right. That's what I'm saying. So she actually just really started following the teachings. Like she's, because they're saying that they're reading from the King James Bible. So she actually just applied the stuff. You can convert or revert to or a way of life or a way of teaching, but for a lineage, you either that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because they said that Hebrew Israelite was a lineage, but they also said that they converted to it. So
For 6 years.
Is he the head of you?
Yes.
He is the head. So you're the head of your wife.
That's correct.
And what does that mean, to be the head of your wife?
Be the head of my wife means being a strong leader in my household, being a provider, being a nurturer of the Bible, and spiritually, mentally, and physically through the power of the Most High.
And so the white-skinned people in Israel and other places who say that they are Jews, they are not the Jews?
No, they're not.
And who are they?
They call themselves Ashkenazi, right? So the Bible actually says in Genesis chapter 10 that Ashkenazi is the isles of the Gentiles. These are converts that came in and took our identity when we went into slavery.
Really?
Yes.
And so you're saying blacks are the original Jews?
Yes.
Are you like totally convinced of that?
I know that for a fact.
And how has it helped you to see yourself as a Jew?
Well, it gave me my identity back, because that's what.
So, okay, so I looked up Romans 26. So it says, in the very place where it was said to them, you are not my people, they will be called children of the living God. And it says, this verse affirms that God's mercy extends beyond the Jewish people to include the Gentiles, transforming those who were once spiritually alienated into his own children. It highlights God's sovereign right to call anyone to himself. So everybody's God's. So this is basically saying everybody is God's, has God's favor, or can be God's people. Hey, Renee, look at her. So, but is this concrete enough? Is this enough concrete proof where we can plant our flag? You're reading an interpretation from a religion. I read the Bible. You saying the Bible scripture is an interpretation? You saying the Bible? You saying that the scripture is an interpretation? Because I'm confused. But I'm saying, help me out. Like, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old.
What everybody in
right.
America is basically experiencing right now is an identity crisis, not knowing who they are. We walking around.
So, okay, so you explain it to me. Explain what the verse means. Because in the very place where it was said to them, you are not my people, there they would be called children of the living God. Isn't that the same thing as the explanation? Isn't that this, or is that something different? Is that saying something different?
With amnesia, because they telling us that we was Africans when we came over here and not telling us where we came from Africa. And actually, I brought this chart right here so you can see. Now, this is a Negro land, right? This is actually the place where our people came from, the west part of Africa, right by Ghana, right? And so if you look deeply into this, you can see Benjamin, you can see Judah, right? You can actually see that the tribes of Israel was in this place, right? So when they was actually selling people, our people, on slave ships, right? You know what they called them?
What?
Hebos or Igbos.
So right, but 25 and 26 is basically saying the same thing. It says, I will call them my people who are not my people, and I will call her my loved one who are not my loved one. Right, 25 and 26 is saying the same thing. The Israelites are my people, and everybody else will have my grace, will have my love. They can be called back into this with me. Okay. So why'd you want me to read it? If it's specifically for the Israelites, how does that pertain to Black Americans? Explain. I'm saying because you're typing statements, but you're not explaining. So how does that pertain to Black Americans? Hey, Nemesis, look here, my brother.
This was from all parts of Africa or just that particular area?
Well, they went to that particular part of Africa and they got most of us from there, but we got scattered to the four corners of the earth. But that was our main place that we was at. They wasn't grabbing regular Africans, they was grabbing the Hebrew Israelites.
And so the blacks who were selling blacks, you had the black kings and higher uppers selling the underclass blacks in Africa. Did they know they were selling Jews?
Yes, they did.
They knew that.
Yes.
So seeing yourself as a Jew, does that make you feel better about yourself?
Well, like I said, when you have your identity back, you can know, when you know where you came from, you can know where you're going. Now,
There go that statement. There's that statement. Okay, child, I hear you, but what evidence do we have to show that all of this information is pertaining specifically to Black Americans? Because all these civil, it's so many, like I read earlier, so many people can make this claim. So many people can say these are things that happened to us. They're talking about us. So what concrete proof does this say that this is Black Americans? And Nemesis, I do agree with your point about the organizational part of it. I'm not mad at the organizational part of it. Or actually, I'm not even mad at none of it. I'm just trying to understand. So